It's a great day in the world of Magic the Gathering for people who love new Magic cards because Wizards of the Coast has gone ahead and announced 8 new secret layers. And one of them, this one right here, is based on the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon that I watched as a kid. So we are in for a fun ride. Buckle up.
Magic. I am a wizard. History. I'm an old wizard. The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. My friends, we are here today to talk about the new Superdrop of secret layers that is about to rain down from the heavens upon us. Before we do that, this is my final reminder that YouTube is doing its yearly bot sweep, which means people are being unsubscribed from channels that they watch. So you're going to want to double check and make sure that all the YouTube channels you want to be subscribed to, that you are still subscribed to them. Now, let us talk about the fun we are here to discuss. We are here to talk about the secret layer known as All Natural, Totally Refreshing. We have 8 different secret layers, and normally what I like to do with secret layers is dive in and look at each one individually, each of the different cards, talk about the artwork and all that good stuff. Now this video isn't going to be that, or we would be here for a crazy amount of time. So we're going to take a surface look at the names and the concepts and the cards that are included in the secret layers, and then I will do individual videos where we go more in depth. So up on the screen is probably the one that I'm most hyped about, which is Saturday Morning D&D. Now, I want you to take a moment and notice as well that the secret layer packaging seems to have changed. It seems like they're going for a slimmer variation. If the secret layer boxes are going to mimic what we see on the screen, then maybe they're going to be thinner and more akin to books, which to me is great because I will admit, secret layer boxes take up a crazy amount of space. So, this secret layer is specifically built around the 80s cartoon Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know if you remember that cartoon, but if you watched it, one of the most distinctive things was whenever an enemy was defeated, it would just, I'm sparkling away, because it's a kid's cartoon. So what are you going to do, right? But this set features some major characters from the show. We will talk about that more in depth when we do a whole video on it, but I'm waiting to get my hands on high resolution images of the cards because right now all we have is these pictures with the tiny versions of cards. So inside the Saturday Morning D&D set, you get Commander Sphere, Hero's Downfall, Impact Tremors, Primal Vigor, Unbreakable Formation, and Whir of Invention. So definitely an interesting mix of cards to include all over the place. They're giving you one of each of the different colors, it seems like, and then a colorless card, which makes sense for a secret layer with 6 cards across it. Makes you wonder what the bonus card will be, but whatever, we should be able to cover that later on as well. So that is the first secret layer we have to talk about. The next one is, what do we have? This one is they're not in a particular order. Oh, this is the special guest Jenn Bartel one, okay? So there are certain ones that are focused around particular artists, and I assume that the special guest ones work the same way. Like when they did the Seb McKinnon Superdrop, they allow the artist to choose the cards that they wish to do artwork for. So I don't know if that's how this worked, if Jenn Bartel was given specific cards to do or was able to decide particular Magic cards that they wanted to create artwork for, because this is a really weird mix of cards. Let's be real. The cards that are included are Archaeomancer, Bloom Tender, Meteor Golem, and Mesa Enchantress. And I'm going to be honest, I can't really find a connection between these cards to explain what the idea is supposed to be. So my current guess is that this is just, hey, take a look at Magic cards. If there's any concepts you think are cool, you can do them as cards. Or Wizards of the Coast, just for some reason, wanted to print these specific cards? I will admit, this one throws me for a bit of a loop, but maybe we'll get more information as we go along. I assume that we will. Next up, what do we have to talk about? This is one of 2 Dan Frazier Signet secret layers. So this one's called Dan Frazier is Back, the Enemy's Signets, all right? And the Signets are the old Ravnican artifacts where there are 2 to put out, pay 1 color or 1 generic to tap them, and then you get 2 different colors worth of mana. So they are actually really useful for mana fixing, and they're a fast little mana rock. Yes, you do have to feed mana into them to use them, but it's been proven that the signet's power level is definitely sufficient to the task, right? And these look really nice. What's cool about these is they're more aligned with the colors as opposed to specifically feeling like they're actually like tied to the guilds. Yes, they have the guild name, but it doesn't feel like they were beholden to sticking to the guild concepts for this. And I like it because obviously whenever you get signets, they're going to normally be specifically aligned to those guilds, which kind of puts you in a box. So we've got some stones that just, honestly, they kind of have, like, look at the one in the middle. It's kind of got like a Mox vibe, right? But we can talk about that more when we dive into the artwork. Like I said, this is basically one of a 2 set. There are 2 different Dan Frazier secret layers. I don't know if the images are I don't know if the next one we're going to see is also, no, okay, so the next one will be further along down the line. Now, this is Mother's Day 2021, all right? So, I guess I didn't list the signets that were in the previous one, right? So we've got the Orzhov signet, the Izzet signet, Golgari signet, the Boros signet, and the Simic signet. Trying to be consistent. All right, now let's talk about the Mother's Day 2021 secret layer. Now, some of you may be scratching your head and going, wait a minute, Mother's Day? Mother's Day's already passed. Why didn't they release this ahead of time before Mother's Day? Well, that's due to a change with the way that they handle secret layers. You may not have been aware of the announcement, but Wizards of the Coast came out and said, okay, what we're going to do with secret layers to increase availability for people is we're going to do them in super drops, because super drops tend to get a better reaction from people. So now, even when they're doing ones that are aligned with particular holidays or celebratory days or charity events, whatever it is, the majority of these secret layers are not going to be released individually. They're going to be released as part of a super drop. And this is the first and most obvious instance we're going to get with that, since Mother's Day's already gone by. So the Mother's Day secret layer is literally a 1-card, 4-card secret layer. And by that, I mean you're getting a playset of one particular card. In this case, it's Mother of Runes, and it's an interesting choice for a card. And the artwork on these is pretty interesting as well. This is one that will be fun to dive in to talk about, especially the one artwork, which is pretty wild, I gotta say. But anyways, waiting for the higher resolution artwork versions. Mother of Runes, a protective mother selected for the Mother's Day secret layer, actually makes perfect sense. Is there any card in Magic that would actually be more appropriate for a Mother's Day secret layer? I can't think of it. So deciding to make a playset of these totally works out. Let's move on to the next secret layer. This is the enemy version, or is this, no, sorry, this is the allied. Dan Frazier is back, the allied signets. So we've got Celestia, we have, who else do we have on here? We've got Dimir, we've got Gruul, we've got Azorius, and we've got the Rakdos, all right? So these are done in a similar style with the totally Moxish Mana Stone kind of vibe that calls back to the olden days of Magic, which gets a big fat thumbs up from me. Moving on, we've got Artist Series Mark Poole. Now, this is an interesting one because it takes a combination of pre-existing artwork from the artist and combines it with new artwork, right? So this is the Artist Series Mark Poole, and 3 of the cards that we have, Birds Paradise, Counterspell, and Howling Mine, all have the original artwork. Now, for me, I'm actually really excited about that because I've always loved the little goopy Counterspell where he's just like, boop, my spell failed. So that being in a secret layer is cool with me. But half of the cards in the secret layer have new artwork. This is a really weird beast that kind of changes the way that I view Artist Series. I guess maybe it's a combination of you can choose cards you want to do artwork for, and we'll use some of your old artwork. So maybe it was like, hey, we want to use some of your pre-existing artwork that you have the royalties to. This is actually a good opportunity to cover that. If you guys didn't understand why the oldest level of Magic artwork doesn't end up getting reused, the reason for that is at the very beginning of Magic, Magic artists were given royalties instead of just being paid like, I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars for this painting. We own it. We can do whatever we want with it. In the early days, Magic the Gathering didn't have that much money. And so part of the deal they had was a royalty deal where for every card we print, we're going to give you, I don't know, like what fraction of a cent. I have no idea what the royalty amount is. But what the point is that old school Magic artists get paid for every single printing of their old school artwork. And obviously, the more cards you print, the more costly your artwork becomes. And that's why Wizards of the Coast now just goes and outright purchases the artwork, owns the rights to it and everything, and doesn't use the royalties. Because if they were to use these old school cards, they would either have to pay royalties under the old royalty agreement or negotiate a new agreement. And I imagine what happened in this situation was they came to Mark Poole and said, we're not using this artwork anyways. How about we pay you like a one-time fee to be able to use them here? We're not going to worry about our royalty agreement. And on top of using your pre-existing artwork, we'd like to commission you to paint 3 additional pieces of artwork for 3 more cards too. And maybe they let him pick what 3 they were going to be. The choice of cards in this secret lair is an interesting mix. Balance, Birds of Paradise, Brainstorm, Counterspell, Howling Mine, and Wasteland. There is no common denominator to me that goes across all these cards. They're different levels of desirability. It's an interesting mix, and I look forward to seeing bigger versions of the artwork and going more in depth with this secret lair, because this one definitely sticks out to me as an odd creature. All right, so the next thing we have, I just had a moment where my brain was like, I have to look and make sure that I didn't accidentally turn the recording off. I don't know if you guys know what it's like, but I've lost Magic recordings before, and I've been talking for like half an hour, and it's like, oh no, it's gone! But we're all good. You guys know that because you can see the video. But I'm reassuring myself it's all good. It's okay. I'm professional. So this secret lair here is the Fiona Staples. This is special guest Fiona Staples. So this is another special guest secret lair. Now this one, I had to write it down because the image is actually pretty small for me here. So let me reference my notes here. So on this one, we've got the Dryad of Elysian Grove. We've got Metallic Mimic. We've got Sakura Tribe Elder, Soul Scarmage, and Spell Queller. So this is another one where I feel like the artist was probably allowed to choose the cards. I don't know, though. I mean, there's a number of desirable cards in here. It's interesting. Maybe Wizards of the Coast gives, like, special guests a short list, or maybe they're literally like, yo, we want your style of art, but we want to decide the cards. Maybe it's just, like, established Magic artists who are given the opportunity to go ahead and select the cards that they're going to do. But this one is the tiniest image that we were provided. The Sakura Tribe Elder looks really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the higher resolution, fully blown up versions of those, and I'm really hoping that they come out later today, because I'm going to end up making a number of videos because there's all these different secret lairs, and I love talking about Magic cards. It's so much fun. Let us move on. All right, so this one is one we already talked about. We got a hint of this before. This is the Phyrexian Praetor Superdrop. And if you look at the side of the secret lair box, you'll see the text is all in the Phyrexian language. Phyrexianese, which is totally not the official name for it. But anyways, this is the Phyrexian language. I love it. All these Praetors are done in the Phyrexian language style. If you'd like to know more about them and their conquering of Mirrodin, some backstory, and see bigger versions of these cards, that I do have for you. I made a video talking about the Praetor secret lair when we originally got it leaked. So I'll link that at the end of the video. That can be the first in-depth one, because I'm not going to obviously make another in-depth secret lair video for one that I've already done. So link will be at the end for that. So my friends, that is the full gamut of the secret lairs that we have to talk about, ending off again on the one that is my absolute favorite. I didn't list the contents of the Phyrexian secret lair, the 5 different Praetors, but that's because, boom, I've got a video ready for you to go if you want to check that out. So let me know which of these secret lairs you are most hyped about. What gets you most excited? Honestly, I want them all. They all look great. There's none of them that I'm disappointed by, and I want to take a look deeper at the cards that are included within. So at this point, thanks for coming by, everybody. Like I said at the beginning, remember to check your YouTube subscriptions across YouTube because people are being unsubscribed. I've already been thanked by multiple people for letting them know. So just keep that in mind. Big thank you to all my patrons for supporting my channel. It means a lot to me, and I will see all of you, my friends, in the next video, which is almost guaranteed to be talking about these secret layers in depth, unless something even crazier happens. 8 secret layers. I was not expecting that many. How many were you expecting? Let me know. Link to the Phyrexian Praetor video on the screen. See you next time, guys.